plenty of big names have long celebrated the artistry and authenticity of Adam Lambert, even while the rest of the world was clutching their pearls. Here's what some of them have had to say about the Queen frontman over the years. The year was 2009. Barack Obama had just taken office, Adam Lambert took second place on American Idol, and Lady Gaga was pushing boundaries everywhere she went. That fall, as she was gearing up for the release of The Fame Monster, Lambert's wild glam rock antics caught Gaga's eye. They worked together on a song called Fever, which Gaga had originally written for herself, but let Lambert record instead. In an interview with Kiss 106.1, she said, "It's like a total hit smash record, but for some reason, I couldn't get it right with me doing it. And I said, gosh, it would be perfect for him." They went into the studio together, and as Gaga recalled, "I played it for him, and he's like, oh my god, I love it," and he went crazy, so we did it. He's a funny guy, he's a good guy. Gaga also offered Lambert some advice about what would be his first album, saying, "You never debut again, you only get one time." Back in 2009, when Adam Lambert was competing on American Idol, the surviving members of Queen stopped by to perform with him. Guitarist Brian May told Rolling Stone they were considering inviting Lambert to step in for the late Freddie Mercury as the band's new vocalist, saying, "It's not like we, as Queen, would rush into coalescing with another singer just like that. It isn't that easy, but I'd certainly like to work with Adam. That is one amazing instrument he has there."
We all sort of got a kick out of each other, and it felt like the right fit. It felt good.
It took a few years, but Queen and Adam Lambert did indeed coalesce beginning in 2012. They embarked on the Queen and Adam Lambert tour that year, and they've toured regularly ever since. In a 2023 interview on Sirius XM, looking back at more than a decade of collaboration, May marveled over the way it all happened, explaining,
We didn't advertise, we didn't audition or anything. He just turned up out of the blue, out of heaven somehow.
Fate.
And he had everything that we needed, plus more.
The 2009 American Music Awards featured an incredible cast of performers, but the biggest headline grabber was Adam Lambert's performance of For Your Entertainment, which included a moment where he kissed a guy. That was still scandalous in 2009. It led to more than 1,000 complaints and even the threat of legal action from ABC, who carried the award show. Speaking at the 2023 Creative Coalition Spotlight Initiative Gala, Lambert said, "I'd been in a bubble in LA amongst artists, weirdos, and I didn't realize that kind of thing would ruffle feathers the way it did."
People in this country like things very black and white. And I think when it gets gray, it gets really uncomfortable and they don't know what to do.
Melissa Etheridge, on the other hand, loved it and said so on the red carpet, gushing, "Don't you want to see what his hair looks like and just how much makeup he's gonna wear? Finally, we've got a real diva." Even as he faced homophobia from the public, Lambert also faced backlash from the queer community, including an editorial in Out magazine that claimed he wasn't gay enough. Etheridge, who is also openly gay, had some thoughts, sharing, "I know how it is in this industry and in the world. When you're an out gay person, you take on a lot and you never ask for it." When Lambert competed on American Idol, Judge Simon Cowell wasn't always a fan.
"I think you are theatrical and therefore not current."
Though he once gave Lambert a standing ovation, there was also one time where Cowell compared Lambert's rendition of Born to Be Wild to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Lambert told NME that before he competed on Idol, Cowell wasn't exactly kind to contestants he presumed to be gay, saying Simon would make fun of them. That was the comic relief. Cowell came around though, and these days he's a big Lambert fan. In fact, when Lambert performed on the 2023 finale of America's Got Talent All-Stars, Cowell told him,
"You are honestly one of the nicest people in show business I've ever met. Such a star. I'm so proud of everything you've achieved."
One would think Lambert's love of leather, his wailing vocals, and his theatrical performance style would make him a natural successor to the Kiss throne. And in fact, Kiss teamed up with Lambert on American Idol in 2009 to sing a medley of their hits. But lead singer Gene Simmons isn't a fan. In a Q&A on his website, Simmons told a fan that he had no interest in helping Lambert set up a career in rock music, saying, "Respectfully, I don't think Adam is a rock singer. He sounds much more convincing singing ballads and Broadway shows. His voice doesn't seem to have a rock quality, but I'm sure he's going to do just fine." Then, after Lambert came out in Rolling Stone, Simmons told AOL that he thought Lambert had no future in showbiz, blurting, "I think he killed his career because now the conversation is not about his talent, but about his sexual preference. My advice is still the same. Shut the f up. Just sing." Like Lambert, Clay Aiken wasn't openly gay when he competed on American Idol. He came out in 2008 on the cover of People, posing alongside a headline that read, "Yes, I'm gay." He had a message for his fans. Know that I've never intended to lie to anybody at all. The following year, when Lambert set the internet alight with his Idol performances, Aiken took to his blog to tell everyone he wasn't a fan. According to Pride.com, Aiken wrote, "I happened to turn it on during the minute that Adam Lambert was singing Ring of Fire, and at that moment, thought my ears would bleed. Contrived, awful, and slightly frightening." In a 2012 appearance on Watch What Happens Live, Andy Cohen asked Lambert to say 3 nice things about his Idol predecessor. Lambert simply replied,
"Can't think of any."
In the late 2000s, Perez Hilton could make or break a career. When he liked you, he'd cover you positively on his gossip blog. When he didn't like you, he could be vicious. After Lambert's controversial AMAs performance, Hilton defended him, telling ABC News, "He doesn't have to play it safe to get votes, and at the end of the day, it's all working. I applaud him for that performance. It was ballsy." A few years later, however, Hilton spoke with Carson Daly and revealed that Lambert had acted up at Gaga's 2011 birthday party, sharing, "He showed up really drunk, actually beyond drunk. Like super sloppy, messy, embarrassingly drunk. Gaga had like these little princess cakes with Disney characters on top. He got one of the toppers and attempted to put it in her mouth. And we're like, what is going on?" For the record, Hilton and Gaga would later feud. In 2018, Variety got a bunch of queer entertainment professionals together for brunch. The guest list included stars like Troye Sivan and songwriter Justin Tranter, in addition to Lambert. Parson James, best known for his hit single Stole the Show with Kygo, also attended the event. He noted that he had been signed to a major label that had queer executives, but they wanted him to tamp down his identity in order to succeed. James took the opportunity to shout out Lambert's trailblazing career, thanking him for being so open and visible during a time when queer entertainers were told to remain quiet. James went on to say, "There are pioneers here like Adam Lambert, who was just wholeheartedly himself and put his foot forward and didn't hold back. A lot of people bashed him for what he did, but to be honest, I think if people like him didn't come around when the conversations were so mum, then we couldn't have people like Troye or myself."
There is a responsibility to be a queer celebrity, and I had to learn on the spot what that responsibility was.
Variety noted that the attention seemed to make Lambert emotional and that he sat alone during part of the event and reminisced about those early, homophobia-haunted years. Lambert shared, "I'm at a point in my career where I'm being true to who I am. I'm being authentic. I'm being myself and not making any apologies for it." Few pop stars are as gleefully provocative as Swedish singer Tove Lo, who has some song titles that are too risque to include here. It makes sense then that she'd get along well with Lambert, who's no stranger to pushing the envelope himself. The two linked up for a studio session back in 2014 for Lambert's album The Original High. Lambert told Billboard,
"She's funny, she's normal, she's like a normal, down-to-earth girl. We sat and had like a couple glasses of wine and talked about dating and life and music."
It seems that the feeling was mutual. Lo told Digital Spy that they'd ultimately gotten together and written a song for Lambert called Rumors, saying, "Adam's probably the first guy that I've successfully written something for." In an interview with Billboard, she complimented Lambert's talent, saying, "When you hear the fully produced stuff from the studio, that's one thing, but his voice is insane. I couldn't believe it." With the 2012 release of Trespassing, Adam Lambert made history. As noted by Billboard, he was the first out gay man to debut an album at the top of the charts. Ahead of the record's release, he told the outlet, "I wanted it to reflect my social scene, not just what I knew my fans were going through. So I'm writing about my gay friends, going out and getting laid." Lil Nas X, on the other hand, ruled the Billboard Hot 100 in 2019. With Old Town Road, he logged not only the longest-running #1 by a queer artist, but the longest-running #1 overall. Though Lil Nas X was afraid of coming out and facing the backlash, he told BBC Breakfast that he was ready for it, saying,
"I don't want to just live my entire life, especially, how I just got to where I'm at, just like not doing what I want to do."
The artists have complimented one another several times. After Lil Nas X sparked controversy for kissing a man at the 2021 BET Awards, Lambert noted the similarity to his own AMAs performance, telling Billboard, "I thought it was hot. I mean, he's really giving it to us." Lil Nas X responded in kind, telling Heavy, "I really appreciate all the love that he's shown me, and I definitely don't take it for granted, and I appreciate all the doors that him and people like him opened." On Surefire Winners, a track from his 2009 album For Your Entertainment, Lambert sang, "All the girls and the boys want to know how far this bad wild child's gonna go." A few years later, on her track Die Young, Kesha sang, "Wild child's looking good, living hard just like we should." Lambert and Kesha were two of pop's wildest children at the start of their careers, so it makes sense that they linked up and became friends. In early 2010, the twosome had a whirlwind night out at a gay club in New York. Afterward, Lambert confessed to BLI in the morning, "She's really pretty. We were laughing and we just started kissing." Just Jared followed up to get some more details, asking Lambert and Kesha how the kiss was. Lambert shared that she tasted like Goldschlager and maple syrup, and Kesha doubled down with, "He tasted like blueberries and champagne." They're apparently still friends, having posed together several times over the years. In 2016, after Kesha stopped by Lambert's tour, he shared a photo to Facebook, posting, "I missed you, darlin'." In 2024, both singers landed on the same lineup at West Hollywood Pride, likely setting them up for yet another wild night ahead for the bars of Santa Monica Boulevard.